Welcome back to my channel. If it is your first time tuning in, I ask you to do three things: to like, comment, and subscribe. I also ask you to hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. The reason why I ask you to like, comment, and subscribe is because the more you interact with the video, the more YouTube will promote this video, and this will help us get the gospel of Jesus Christ worldwide. Happy Thursday. I have a couple of questions to ask you. My first question to you is, how many of us have too many responsibilities in our lives? My second question to you is, how many of us believe that we do not have what it takes to live out the calling God has placed in our lives? And my third question to you is, how many of us believe that we are not enough? Let me submit to you, I'm not enough. You're not enough. We are not enough. But that's okay, because we serve a God that's more than enough. We serve a red-splitting, walls of Jericho breaking, way-making God. So when you feel like you're not enough, remember, God does not call the qualified. He qualifies who he calls. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 27 and 29 says, "But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. God chose the lowly things of this world to despise, and the despised things and the things that are not, to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him." Don't forget, even though you do not feel enough, God still chose you, and he chose you in spite of your dysfunction. He chose you in spite of your weakness. He chose you in spite of your struggle. So if you get anything from this video, remember that God has chosen you to do his work. He chose you to spread the good news of Jesus Christ. He chose you to go heal the sick. He chose you to set the captives free. He chose you to go start that business. He chose you to raise those kids. He chose you. Never forget it. He chose you. He could have chosen anyone, but in his infinite mercy, he decided to choose you, and he decided to choose me. So just because you are not enough does not mean you're not chosen, does not mean you're not called, does not mean you're not appointed, and does not mean you're not anointed. When you present your not enough to the more than enough God, then miracles start to happen. Do not hide your not enough. Present it to God. Judges chapter 6 verse 11 and 12 says, "The angel of the Lord came and sat down on the oak of Ophrah that belonged to Joash the Abiezrite, where his son Gideon was threshing wheat in a winepress to keep it from the Midianites. When the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon, he said, 'The Lord is with you, mighty warrior.'" What is so crazy about this statement is that Gideon was not in the front lines defending his families. He was in a wine press trying to hide from the Midianites. What I love about God is he does not refer to us by our current situation or by our current struggle or by our current sin. He calls us by what he has placed in us. He calls you free. He calls you healed. He calls you restored. It may not look like it physically, but it have already been done and ordained in heaven. While Gideon was warring, the angel of the Lord called him mighty warrior. Let's look at ourselves and see us how God sees us, not how the world sees us, because the world will love to remind us that we're not enough. But I'm here to tell you right now, the world is right, we're not enough, but the world never points to the God who is more than enough. Remember, our God is able to do exceedingly and abundantly what we think, ask, or even imagine, according to the power. According to what power? Where is this power? According to the power that works within us. Not according to the power that works within your degrees, not according to the power that works within your networking, not according to the power that works within your bank account, but the power, according to the power that works within you and that works within me. Judges chapter 6. Verse 13 and 14 says, "Pardon me, my Lord," Gideon replies, "but if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? Where are all his wonders that our ancestors told us about when they said, 'Did not the Lord bring us up out of Egypt?' But now the Lord has abandoned us and given us into the hand of Midian." The Lord turned to him and said, "Go in the strength you have and save Israel out of Midian's hand. Am I not sending you?" I don't know who needs to hear this, but go in the strength you have. I'll say it one more time. Go in the strength you have. You may not have the resources. You may not have the connections. You may not have the strategies, but you have the strength. So go in the strength you have. Even if you think your strength is not enough, still go in the strength that you have. After this, some of us might have responded in the same manner Gideon responded in verse 15. Let's see what Gideon says. Pardon me, my Lord, Gideon replies, but how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my family. Some of us are thinking the exact same thought. How am I supposed to break this generational curse? How am I supposed to lead my family to Jesus? How am I supposed to have the first marriage in my family not end up in divorce? How can I do it? Let's look how God responds in verse 16. The Lord answered, I will be with you, and you will strike down all the Midianites, leaving none alive. God is saying it is not going to just be you. I am going to be with you. He will be with you in that business. He will be with you in that marriage. He will be with you in that classroom. He will be with you. The Bible says that God will not leave you nor forsake you. God will be with you. So after talking to the angel, Gideon asked for some signs from God to make sure that God was really sending him. So after God performed these signs, Gideon went his way and started building an army. But look what God told Gideon in Judges chapter 7 verse 2. The Lord said to Gideon, you have too many men. I cannot deliver Midian into your hands, or Israel will boast against me. My own strength have saved me. So I'm starting to ask myself, and you should start to ask yourself this too. Is our not enough, in fact, our advantage? God continues in verse 3. Now announce to the army, anyone who trembles with fear may turn back and leave Mount Gilead. So 22,000 men left, while 10,000 remained. 22,000 people left, and 10,000 people were left. Now I'm here to tell you right now, they definitely did not have enough to defeat the Midianites. But look what God says in verse 4. But the Lord said to Gideon, there are still too many men. Take them down to the water, and I will thin them out for you there. If I say this one shall go with you, he shall go. But if I say this one shall not go with you, he shall not go. This makes no sense. This makes no sense. How can God tell them to thin down from 32,000 to 10,000, and then he says it's too many? How does this make sense? I'm here to tell you right now, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for you to forgive that person. It doesn't make sense to stay pure before you're married. It doesn't make sense to write the book or to start the blog or to start the YouTube channel. It does not make sense. But let me tell you something. When God is in a thing, it does not need to make sense. I say it one more time. When God is in a thing, it does not have to make sense. Judges chapter 7, verse 5 to 8 says, so Gideon took the men down to the water. There the Lord told him, separate those who lap the water with their tongues as a dog laps from those who kneel down to drink. 300 of them drank from cup hands, lapping like dogs. All the rest got down on their knees to drink. The Lord said to Gideon, with the 300 men that lapped, I will save you and give the Midianites into your hands. Let all the others go home. So Gideon sent the rest of the Israelites home, but kept the 300 who took over the provisions and the trumpets of the others. Now the camp of Midian laid below him in the valley. They started with 32,000 men, and now they're left with 300 men. Why? Why did your connections fall through? Why did the people who promised to be there not come through? Why did all your networks not answer you back? Why don't you have enough to do what God has called you to do? Maybe because God did not want you to boast against him. He didn't want you to say, I got here because of my connections. I got here because of my networking. I got here because of my intellect. Maybe God did not want you to say this, and maybe God wants you to say this. I got here because of my God. If it was not for God on my side, I don't know where I would be. Maybe God just wants you to give him all the glory, all the praise, and all the thanks. If you continue to read Judges chapter 7 and chapter 8, it says that through the hands of Gideon, God delivered the Israelites from the oppression of the Midianites. Gideon did not have what it took. Gideon did not have the men. He did not have the leadership qualities. But what he did have, he had an obedient heart. I'm here to tell you right now, God does not need you to be enough. He just needs you to be obedient. Lisa Turkhurst once said, he's not waiting on you to impress him. He simply wants you to say yes to him. I want to leave you with this verse. This verse is my favorite verse out of the whole Bible. 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9 says, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Let me pause right there to let you know that even though you're weak, God's power is made perfect in your weakness. Let's continue. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. So when you're starting to think to yourself that I'm not enough, remember, you are not enough. But with God, you are empowered to be enough for the calling and purpose God has placed inside of you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I don't want you to miss out of the amazing content coming out of this channel. If you have any prayer requests, put in the comment section below. I love you, God bless you, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching this video. If you want more content, subscribe over here and watch the next video over there. God bless you.